Καθίστε, καλημέρα σας. Όπως παρατηρήσετε, έχουμε μερικές αλλαγές σήμερα. As you have noticed, there are some changes today. On the one hand, Father Michael is not here. He is a little bit under the weather. So light a candle for him too. And on the other hand, one of his spiritual children, Mr. Nicholas Marcus, is here as the deacon. Nick Marcus was ordained yesterday at the Nativity Church in Plymouth, where he had been a member for many years before going to the seminary, and he has finished the seminary and is back and was ordained yesterday as a deacon. So we have some changes. So if you see the priests move him around a little bit, it's because this is his first time. Right? Anna, is that fair? It's fair. So you don't, it's like everything else. You don't really figure out how it actually works until you have to do it. When you have to do it, you realize it's always not as easy as it looked. For all of us. Αυτό είναι για όλους μας. The bishop included. Somebody has to be there initially to move you and push you and put your hand where it's going and figure out how it's working. Well, Kalimera again. How are you? Καλά είσαι? Ωραία εδώ μπροστά. Εγώ ξέρω ότι πάντα είστε εδώ και έτσι είμαι εγώ σίγουρος ότι έχουμε ακροατήριο εδώ στη Κίμηση. Έχουμε πάντα πιστούς εδώ. Καλημέρα σας. We are celebrating the reality of the cross again. One of the last times I was here with you, I spoke about the reality of being an intentional Christian. That's kind of the wording I used. And I bring it up again because that's what the cross is about. It's being an intentional Christian. I say that because all of us, altar boys, when did you get a cross? Yes. When you were baptized. And Sotiri, who gave you the cross? Wow, I don't know. Who gave you the cross? Normally, who gives us the cross? The godparents. The godparents give us the cross. They give us the cross and they put it around, we put it around your neck at the end of the baptism. And that is to start your life as a way of being a Christian. But as much as we look at it sometimes in America as a sign of jewelry, and you see all of those famous movie stars, and we know somehow that the size of the cross that they are wearing with gold and silver and diamonds, mine are all fake stones so that you know. The size of the cross that they're wearing does not match the Christian conviction of their lives, because very often there is not a Christian conviction in their life. Very often the cross is simply a piece of jewelry. And so you have the famous Madonna wearing crosses. Τι δουλειά έχει η Madonna τώρα με σταυρούς? I have no idea. But Madonna's wearing crosses, and we look at it and we think it's a wonderful thing. And it's the cross that was given to us at our baptism is not a piece of jewelry. Where's your cross? Okay. It's not a piece of jewelry. It's a sign of witness of the, I'm going to use a kind of an English Greek word. It's a sign of witness of the martyrdom that is required of Christians. And martyrdom comes from the Greek word martyria, which is a witness and a testimony. We always think of it as being harsh. We think of the martyrs who lost their heads. Every morning in the Orthodox, you're going to hear us read about the saints. And if you hear us read about the lives of the saints that we are commemorating that day, sometimes you hear us say, Joey, and today we're celebrating Saint so-and-so who was perfected by the sword. What do they mean by that? He was perfected, it means he was killed, he was martyred. And they're using that term perfected because he became he entered the kingdom of God, is what they're trying to say, by the sword. So we have that. The cross is not simply a piece of jewelry. Jesus today makes an interesting statement. A lot of people want to follow him. It's wonderful. We think of how wonderful it is. Look at us here today. Κοιτάξτε, if you look around, look how Βλέπουμε πως είναι ωραίο ο κόσμος εδώ. Δεν είναι καλά όλοι εντάξει. Okay? We look around and we see that everybody's in good shape, and we look, how wonderful to be a Christian. And we forget that the reality is, for many people, being a Christian, especially in the Middle East, being a Christian in some parts of Asia, is a serious problem for the health of their lives. I'm going to put it that way. If you want to be a Christian in Malaysia, you want to be a Christian in some of the Asian countries, you want to be a Christian in some of the Muslim countries that are Muslim dominated, are you allowed to be freely a Christian? No. Are we able to freely practice our faith without any interference at the Patriarchate? No. I'm your bishop. Over here, when you see me in Detroit, you always see me wearing my cassock. Wherever I go in the United States, I have a cassock on. When I go to the Patriarchate, I have to arrive in a suit. Have you ever seen me in a suit? You wouldn't recognize me because I don't know myself. I cannot be free to go there. I put a suit on with a nice little black tie, and I get to the airport, and they know exactly when they see me, they know who I am. They already know because I have a beard, I'm wearing a black suit, I have a nice little black tie. They figured it out. It's a little bit like the Mormon missionaries. I've told you that before. We know the Mormon missionaries down the street. They look at us and they see us and they can tell who we are. And I arrived at the Patriarchate, and there I'm free. There I have to take off my suit, and I have to put on my cassock and my raso and my hat. And then I can go in and see the Patriarch. So we are not always able to be free. But Jesus tells us something today. We look around and we see all this, we think, oh, it's wonderful to be a Christian. We have come to church, we see each other a little bit, and then we're going to go have coffee. We're going to have coffee because έχουμε τώρα coffee hours. Right? Ωραία εδώ. Αφήνουμε εδώ κάτι για τη φιλόπτωχο, we leave something for the φιλόπτωχος, we leave something here. It's just wonderful. But the reality is, Jesus tells us something else. If you want to follow him, and that's